Nerd or Not, two fat guys and a skinny guy talk about another fat guy. What's up, Cretins? Welcome back to episode 31 of the Nerd or Not podcast, where we're going to give our opinion on a range of topics, everything and anything under the bright nerd sun, all while promoting fellowship, conversation, and humor every chance we can get. We are the Cretins Guild. I am Jay, that is Bob, and that is Corey. Welcome.
What do you mean humor? There's no humor here.
Well, not now.
One of us has to be Scrooge. I figure because it's.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Oh, okay.
That's true. It's Christmas, sir. Everything's funny on Christmas.
No, now go fuck yourself.
That's very different than the script says.
Yeah, that's not something I would ever expect to come out of Alistair. Whatever.
You there, boy! What day is this? Now go fuck your mother.
Oh God!
Oh, shit. I didn't even get a chance to respond, Mr. Scrooge.
Better yet, let me go do that.
My God.
I haven't been touched by a woman in over 30 years.
Now we know why Tiny Tim can't walk.
Jesus, 2 minutes in and we're already losing it.
If you enjoy this type of banter, be sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram,
And
Facebook.
God help you if you do.
And you can, of course, find the show on iTunes, Google, Podbean, YouTube, Tout, Vine, Twitch, and
if you
any
enjoy
other
jovial
video
jokes
streaming
about
service.
incest and
Oh man! Hey,
Yep.
this is us.
and
wanna
it's
give
the Christmas spirit.
It is nothing says Christmas like incest.
Yep.
We're gonna. Want to give a shout out? I'm sure they're thrilled to have it after what I just said to the writer's bone. Daniel Ford and friends are storytellers who love to share their words with the world.
Oh my God.
They hold interviews with the most interesting writers on the internet, film, TV, and in hardbacks. And their most recent interview was with Fief Sutton, who is a writer or producer for shows like Newhart, Cheers, Terriers, Almost Perfect, and News Radio. You can find him at writersbone.com. Now that's awesome because Terriers is the best single season show ever.
Yes. Close.
Sorry, Firefly.
Wait, I'm trying to remember. I can't say that. Kolchak is technically one season. So that's where my loyalties are. Sorry. Terriers is damn good, though.
Well, as I've seen one episode of Kolchak in my life, I gotta give it to Terriers. Although, Kolchak, damn exciting and damn fun. It's a good show. But Terriers is, Terriers is spectacular.
Yeah.
Bob, have you heard the Writer's Bone?
I have. I was listening to that particular episode, and, the episodes are great. They're not... A lot of podcasts, they go on for hours and hours like we sometimes do.
No.
Sometimes.
That's not a character.
They're nice pocket-sized interviews. They're great. I would suggest everybody who has like any kind of writing background or any kind of writing enthusiast in some way to suggest this or listen to it themselves.
Sure. Not a whole lot to talk about today, news-wise.
Not so much. There's the matter of an Infinity War or something or other trailer dropping.
Yeah, the Infinity War trailer dropped.
That? Yes.
It looked good.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny because it was a big bombastic trailer, and I think my favorite thing in it was our first hint at Spider Sense.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like that was the thing. I was like, oh, okay, no, this trailer's good. I'm happy. I don't need to watch anymore.
There was one thing I was disappointed by. One thing we heard about the trailer they showed the people at Comic-Con or wherever it was that they didn't have in this trailer that I really wanted to see because I didn't get to see the leaked footage of it. It's where Thanos throws a moon at somebody or a planet or something.
Wow. Fuck you, Ego, or whoever, or
yeah.
the Living Tribunal, or what? I don't know. It's Bob's the Celestial Marvel guy. I've got the Living Tribunal's like Manny faces of the spaceways. It's.
So he was like the cosmic Judge Judy, right?
Yeah, he was. There's.
Except
yes.
Judge Judy had 3 faces, and they're all screaming at you.
What's wrong with you? What is your problem?
Don't piss on me and tell me it's raining. Get out of my cult room.
Did she ever say that?
I don't know what voice that was. That was the name of one of her books, I think, back in like the late 90s or something.
That's a hell of a title.
I'd buy that.
Good job, Judy.
Yep, very Judge Judy grade folksisms right there. rich with the salt of the earth wisdom. There was that, and speaking of cosmic Marvel, Bob, I don't know if you started watching Agents of Sheild. That just kicked off this week with a 2-parter.
I watched the first part, yes.
Yeah, and the second... Oh, I thought they posted both parts on Hulu.
They did. I don't have Hulu, but I do DVR it, and I got a chance to watch the first episode. I hadn't watched the second as of yet.
All right, yeah. Now, I was looking at it, and I'm kind of wondering if they're trying to go into like a Starlin-esque direction with it, or if they're doing more or less like of a Simonson kind of a thing.
That is what I was thinking, because Inhumans mercifully ended, so maybe there was like some kind of... Thank you.
Boy.
I think there was like some kind of connection that they wanted to do, like when they first started writing this episode. It was like, oh, maybe they want to get like the Inhumans in it some way.
Yeah.
But I don't think so, because they tend to like keep everybody separated. I don't know where they're going with this, so I am interested, because last year was really good.
Yeah.
And this is probably their swan song, since they're going to be on Friday nights now.
Yeah, and it seems like they've like last year was a super strong start, and it dipped in the middle because Marvel has a real problem with episode counts. I'm starting to get, I'm starting to believe, and then it finished like just that was probably the best season they've ever done.
Yes, easily.
And this season's kind of starting off really mellow, although the dialogue is good, so I'm kind of a sucker for dialogue still. But it's just basically like the fourth season, they finally fucking realize that there's the Marvel universe and that there's more shit to pick from than just Avengers main, So nobody's been touching this other, or one of these kind of B-lister but still prominent characters, so they're like, why the fuck not? I mean, we can do this. And now they're going back to like, oh, Cassius, I guess he might have been in like 3 issues of Infinity Watch back in 1988. That shit again. Like, who the fuck was Hive, even from Season 3? Which,
I have no idea. That one came out of left field for me.
Yeah, which I kind of... Season 3 admittedly grew on me, but it was still like a nobody, And Season 4 was like, okay, let's go all in. And I kind of thought they'd continue that trend, but now they're just out in space and dealing with essentially nobody. Although the erstwhile twist at the end of the thing was pretty cool. Which you haven't seen the second episode yet, so it's a good thing I didn't say that. Anyway, yeah, that started.
Where's my neuralizer?
Well, he's the neuralizer toting love magnet. You're going to have to ask him.
It's true. I don't know where my neuralizer is, unfortunately. I've lost it.
He is certified.
I'll just drink myself stupid.
There you go.
It's a good job.
Hey, good mug. Good
Oh, yeah,
mug.
the Krakatoa.
Krakatoa.
That's a good goddamn drink. Other bits of news, we saw the costume reveal for Robin from the upcoming Titans live-action series, and it looks goddamn fantastic.
Which I didn't even know they were making. When was this announced?
Last year.
How did this fly through my filter?
I don't know.
All right, well. How the hell did I know about a Cloak and Dagger, New Warriors, and a fucking Runaway series than the effing Teen Titans being brought into the Arrowverse?
Okay, so they're not being brought into the Arrowverse.
Oh.
As far as we know.
Okay.
So the you guys know what the big thing is in Hollywood right now. Everyone gets their own streaming service, right? Mm-hmm. So like Disney's
until Disney buys them up.
Well, we'll get to that next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Disney is starting their streaming service, which is where it's rumored that Sheild will go after this season, which is housed on their own private thing. It's a lot cheaper to produce that way. The revenue stream is direct. You don't have to worry about paying out advertisers or product placement or anything like that, et cetera, et cetera. Around the same time as the Titan series getting announced, DC also announced that they're going to be having a digital streaming service as well, which is where all of their shit is going to be living.
Hold up.
Yep.
DC independent of CW Seed or even just a CW app?
No Warner Brothers involved?
Well, Warner Brothers is involved. Warner Brothers owns them. So, some way, shape, or form, the Warners are involved.
Well, I mean, it's just the DC properties, no other Warner Brother IP.
Correct. It is just the DC properties. But it will include things like Smallville, like Arrow, Flash, Legends,
Batman Animated?
Batman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond, Superman, Justice League Unlimited, all of those weird esoteric cartoons that they've put out, all the shorts, all the Plastic Man shorts that were amazing.
Oh, God, those were so good.
and one of the things that they announced was that they're going to be producing live-action content for it, and the first thing they're doing is this Titans live-action series, which, just at first blush, that costume's amazing, so that gives me really good hope.
Yeah.
one of the other things that's rumored about this is going to be their all-in-one service. Like, this is their digital content provider. So this is also going to be a case where, you know how Marvel has the Marvel Unlimited subscription service? Where hey, all of our back issues are digitized. You can read them whenever you want for $10 a month. The rumor is that's what DC's been working on for the last 4 years, trying to get this ready, because they have significantly more content to scan than Marvel does.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
So they're taking anything readable off of Comixology?
No, they're still gonna do stuff with Comixology. But if you want to spend, if you're going to subscribe to this, not only are you going to get the video content, you'll be able to read old comics as well.
Oh,
which is pretty fucking cool. So, I ideally, when I first heard about this, the UI and game design nerd in me started going, well, okay, well, you've got an episode of Arrow. You can just immediately reference characters in, like, the rundown as you're going through an app and be like...
like pop-up video.
Exactly like pop-up video.
Holy
you can be like,
shit, that's
hey,
brilliant.
who's this China White character? Let me tap on that and bring up her first appearance comic and read that, and then I can go back to the show.
And then you can go back to the show because you'd be like, well, that's 70s as fuck, and then
exactly. But, yeah, so I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's the idea I had in my head. Like, that's how I would have designed it.
Oh, okay, so it's not something that they've talked about doing. It's something that you came up with just now.
Just that bit there was how I would design it were I designing it. I don't know if they're going to do that or not, but that would be smart. Like,
DC, he's got ideas. Listen.
Yeah, Jeff Johns, hire me, please. And then
he's just asking for 10%. That's all.
And then hire me to direct most of your movies, because it's not like I could do any worse. Not to be a dick, but it's not like I could do any worse, really. Please.
Wonder Woman was good.
Huh?
Wonder Woman was good.
Oh, okay, all right, yes, Wonder Woman was good.
And I had fun with Justice League.
Justice League is still
well, that one went through the ringer.
Case study, but yeah, that's true. All right, okay, well, you're cleaning up your act, DC. I'll let it slide.
It's a step in the right direction.
Yes.
And that was the other thing with Justice League. People need to remember that movie started production before Jeff Johns got on board. Mm-hmm. Like, that started right after Batman Superman wrapped and before Wonder Woman even started production. So
yeah.
Patience, deep breaths. We're going to be okay. Everything's all right. Show me on the doll where Zack Snyder hurt you.
Right here. Right fucking here.
Is that where your wallet is?
One of the last big things we have to talk about, this is something that was rumored for a while. We brought up a couple of weeks ago, but it looks like it's being fast-tracked again. Disney in talks to buy 21st Century Fox, buying the entertainment properties. That looked like it was dead on the vine, but people are saying that this is there's a lot of smoke on this now. And if there's smoke, chances are there's fire here. So
okay, so that's basically everything having to do with Marvel that's over there, X universe, whatever. Which would be great, because now Marvel proper can stop treating that IP like a second-class citizen.
Yes, please bring me back my Fantastic Four, you assholes.
Yeah, except, don't taint the X-Men like you all tainted Inhumans. I swear to God, this year's got to be a bad year for Jack Kirby fans, except for Thor Ragnarok. Because, imagine how... Inhumans is obscure to comic book people, but if you ever try to explain it to layman comic book types that know what Iron Man is, that have no idea what this shit is, it's like explaining... You know how difficult it is, all right? So here's their one shot at mainstream relevance. Miniseries. You no longer get a movie, but it's okay. You'll get 10 episodes, and they're an hour long. And then it's just like an hour long of sitting in a dentist chair while fucking dead squirrels are poured onto your lax just body, sitting there like you can't breathe, and you just smell nothing but decay and filth, and it's like... all of the squirrels are like, Inhumans, while they're dropping on top of you, and that's like it. This is it for me. Yep. This is never gonna happen again.
I'm gonna take that analogy a step further, because that's awful. But what Inhumans really was you're on the dentist chair.
Yeah.
You're there for 10 hours.
Yeah.
You're leaning back. Mm-hmm. Over those 10 hours, once an hour, the dentist walks in and goes, "Hey, Black Bolt," and walks out. And that's it. That's fucking it. It was awful. It was boring. It wasn't even. There was no dead squirrels. Like, that would have at least been like, oh shit, there's some dead squirrels here. Okay.
This is somewhat intriguing in a morbid sense, but sure.
Where there's dead squirrels, there's probably some kind of rabid squirrel monster. All right, let's go with that. We can at least work with it. No, this is just your asshole dentist popping in going, "Hey, lockjaw," closing the door and leaving. and leaving you alone for an hour, where you're like,
They go outside and laugh at you.
what does that mean? Why did you just say lockjaw? Why did you just tap me on the forehead and go Karnak and leave? I don't get it. Like, what the fuck is your deal?
Yeah, and now that means that probably the entire Inhumans thing has been written off. I don't know.
They managed to kill like my favorite weird ass subgenre of Marvel. They've both murdered Quicksilver and they've murdered the Inhumans. At least Quicksilver died a hero. The Inhumans died a shitty ass miniseries on ABC.
Yeah, and we're never gonna get to see Lockjaw on the big screen.
Nope.
I never thought about that. If Disney does acquire Fox and they get the rights to the X-Men, what are they going to do with Quicksilver? Because the Marvel version's dead, but the Fox version...
You know what would be really cool is if they zero-hour that shit?
You know what's going to happen?
Huh.
Here's exactly what should happen. If they make the purchase of Fox and they get all the Marvel properties back, the only thing that should remain unaffected is Deadpool. Deadpool should know exactly what fucking happened. And he should reference it heavily, and he should say it to characters.
I like that.
And he should be like, do you guys remember when we were owned by someone else and now we live with a mouse? Like, what is happening here? What is going on? And then everything else should be rebooted. Completely from scratch reboot.
Yeah.
Don't, just ignore it. You want to be cute, you bring in Hugh Jackman. And you let him make a cameo in the second Infinity War film and have him show up out of a portal out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. The reality gem's working overtime.
Exactly. Here. And like, if you want to do that, you can use the reality gem for that and bring Hugh Jackman in, have him show up for 2 seconds and have him bamf the fuck out. But other than that, reset everything except the Deadpool universe.
I would I'd say do that first, but while they're at it, as long as Deadpool is still, aware of the fourth wall and all this shit, I think there should be a couple of moments within this universe where, like, there's the hint of the doppelganger effect happening through multiple castings. Like, Happy meets up with fucking Foggy at some point, or has, like, recollections of being Daredevil's assistant at some point in his life, and then Captain America acts like a douche just offhand one day. What's up, bro? How's it going? I'm sorry, I don't know what that was.
Become Mojo Riley.
I would love it if they've got the Human Torch there and he goes flying by, and they just cut to like Cap and Tony standing there, and Cap's just shaking his head, and Tony's like, What's wrong? I don't know. I just don't like that guy for some reason. That's it. That's all. Just like...
Yeah, that'd be cute. This is fanboy horse shit. You know that. You know how that goes.
Yeah. So with Disney, and it's not just the Marvel properties. Disney's talking of buying the Fox network. Mm-hmm. So
Fox and FX, yeah, which would mean The Simpsons would become a Disney property.
Yeah, so that's fun with more fucking theme park horse shit that we gotta deal with. Like these contracts, man. Like
that can't really happen though because they already have ABC. That would be an FTC violation, wouldn't it? I mean, sorry, an FCC violation.
I don't.
That is like they would have to work like resell Fox in some way, but keep. I don't know how they would do that because they cannot own two networks, especially two national networks. That's
what I'm saying. Now, if it was two cable networks, obviously that'd be you
could hold like 50 of them. No one cares.
Not an issue. Yeah, that's a moot point. But then we're dealing with like a federalized territory here. I don't think. Yeah, that would be an actionable issue.
Wow, I never thought about that.
You know what, Disney? Have at it. See how far that cash wave can carry your ass.
In 10 years, you and I and Jay, we're all going to work for Disney.
For the record, that'd be cool. Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
I'm here.
And honestly, I couldn't work for a worse company, so I wouldn't really come off as stinking.
I'll drive the monorail.
I want to drive the monorail. No, dibs.
All right, well, you two fuckers fight over the monorail. I'm going to start
Jungle Cruise.
All right, Skipper Dan, you can have it.
I'm just going to start getting the treehouse ready for the apocalypse, that's all. That's where my interest lies.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. I'm going to be 70 by the time it finishes, but...
So, yeah, there's an entire myriad of interesting things that could happen from this. Disney buying Fox, because we've got Disney owning The Simpsons, Disney potentially owning the network that airs Lucifer, which is owned by the Warner Brothers. Mm-hmm. So that's a DC property on a Marvel network. So it's just sit back and pop some popcorn and watch this fucking cat's cradle just get tangled up.
Yeah.
Wow.
In 10 years, Disney's going to own everything anyway, so who cares? It's just...
It's
We're
the most
done.
profitable place on earth.
Pretty soon, these things are going to be your federal ID. The Disney Magic Bands.
Oh, shit. What if you don't have one? Is it going to be like metrics?
Then you go to Disney jail.
Oh, God.
It's
Well,
your-
it's the
you need-
happiest jail on earth, so I guess that wouldn't be too bad.
You need your multi-pass.
Yeah, everyone's heard that.
So, given as it is December, and we are all fairly big Christmas nerds here, we wanted to do a little bit of a Christmas talk today. And this is your chance for Christmas with the Cretins. And this is something we've been talking about for a couple of months, and we've kind of embarrassingly just settled on what we're going to talk about today, despite the fact that we've been discussing it
Hey,
for
at
a
least we
couple of
got it
months.
before the deadline.
That's true. So we're going to talk about some of our favorite things. Now, Bob, you had mentioned that we are not allowed to wear green today. And is that something that we're going to have to wait to see the video version to find out why?
I'll just say it's cold in here.
Ah, okay. Gotcha. All right,
It's
so...
snowing over here, too. And my balls are shrunk.
So, I wanted to start off because we're going to talk about some of our favorite things, like warm rubber mittens and whiskers on kittens. And I don't know.
Thank you for chasing that phrase down. I was going to be like, but I have to go down to the convenience store. How am I going to...
Warm rubber mittens on my little kitten. All right, we are going to talk about,
That's what you
right
call
now, our favorite...
I can't be the only one who's drinking.
it. I'm
I got-
actually,
I
keep
got
talking
sweet
about...
tea.
Keep talking about Christmas. I'm going to give this thing a shot here.
Is this the thing?
The Yulmust, or Yulm... What?
Hold it up to camera. Let's see that thing.
Yulmust. All right. I think, can you read that right there?
Christmas soda.
Yep. Christmas
Yulmust.
soda. Traditional Yulmust. And I'm doing that for a very specific reason, but we'll get to that
All right.
in a bit.
So first and foremost, we are going to talk about. We're each going to give some of our favorite Christmas TV specials. And Bob, I'd like to start with you. What was your favorite Christmas TV special growing up?
1964, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Everyone loves that. It's too easy. Is this actually a TV special, or was this more of a movie? I'm really on the fence of which it is.
Well, it was never released in theaters, so it's a TV special. I think it originally aired on CBS or ABC.
CBS.
So it
Yeah,
is
I think
very,
CBS has
very,
lifelong rights.
very much a TV special.
Okay,
Yeah.
then yeah, the original. The remakes they did after they suck. They're terrible.
Oh, Rudolph and Baby New Year is good and creepy, though.
No, I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking like they made an unofficial sequel where they couldn't actually say the name Rudolph in it.
So it
Like
wasn't
Robbie the reindeer.
It wasn't Rankin Bass. It wasn't the originators.
No, it was stop motion and it was terrible.
So you're talking about the one where nobody wants a Charlie in a box.
Yes, go with that. Yeah.
All right.
yeah.
Yep. All right. So.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's a classic. Obviously, it's that noise will be in my brain. Yeah, his noise lighting up where it's
Just like just a super clenched theater fart.
Rudolph, what the fuck are you doing? My God, it's why my nose is red, Santa.
That doesn't explain the noise. Oh my lord.
So there's definitely some stuff to unpack from that special. Now it is a good special. Rudolph's dad was abusive, like
Right,
not even
straight up.
not even kinda, just like straight up, like yeah. Now I'm Blitzen and I'm a dick. Like, now we're gonna make you wear a false nose that makes you sound stupid, and I'm gonna fucking threaten you. Like,
Yeah. And Santa didn't even square up with that asshole at the end, did he?
no.
He wouldn't have been like, I named you Blitzen, but I'm changing your name to Dixon.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
No, his mom obviously has some kind of case of Stockholm syndrome happening. Hermie the elf, his name is Hermie.
Of course.
Yeah.
Poor Hermie. Yukon Cornelius was 3 sheets to the wind the entire time. and then they get the fucking Bumble there, and what do? They drop a boulder on his head and rip all of his teeth out of his head.
The teeth bit is what disturbed me the most.
That was
watching
totally fucked up.
No. It's like, are these elves like from Singapore or what the? Why are they digging into his gums? That's torture in some scenarios.
In all
literally
scenarios.
Yes, in all scenarios it would be. I mean, specifically some parts of various skirmishes that have happened abroad in history books. I don't have any near me right now. Yeah, shooting like little sticks or whatever up into people's gums and then like yanking their teeth out is right, not frowned upon too much by the Geneva Convention. So, yeah, why the Bumble? What did he... I mean, he was terrifying, sure, but he didn't ask for that. No. And I'd hate to meet the elf that proposed that as an idea for punishment for this thing.
You know that was Hermie.
Was waterboarding not an issue?
Well, no, everything's frozen up there.
Too
You
much
can't
ice.
waterboard.
Right, yeah.
You can't waterboard.
There you go.
So, I mean, like, the thing that gets me is they do this, and they don't even have the common courtesy to put him under. Mm-hmm. Like, they don't numb his gums or anything. It's just like, knock his ass out, rip the shit out of his fucking head. Mm-hmm. And then, by the way, we're going to make him our Christmas slave and have him put the star up on top of the tree at the end. Because that's how the Santa do. It's like... It's a deeply fucked up show. It's wonderful, and I love it, and I can't wait to watch it again this year.
It's fucked up and it's wonderful.
But it's fucked up. But it wouldn't be a 1960s Christmas special without it being fucked up, and that's going to lead me to mine. And 2 guesses as to what mine is.
Frosty.
That would be the year without a Santa Claus.
Yeah.
The year where Santa has had enough of your shit and is not delivering presents. And basically what happens is it's left to Mrs. Claus to convince Santa to deliver the presents to the good girls and boys of the world. And of course we have the wacky misadventures of the elves and the Miser brothers, Heat and Snow, who have a fight and cause all kinds of crazy-ass climate change throughout the world. And things are melting when they should be frozen. Things are freezing when it should be hot. And it is just all kinds of weird. But it does give me the greatest Christmas song ever.
Yeah.
With the Miser brothers. But let's not ignore the fact that this is also just a deeply fucking weird Christmas special, as all these stop motion ones were.
Yeah.
It's a hot mess of just shoddy animation, which I mean is honestly a miraculous thing that they do. But Santa takes a step and then freezes and then picks back up and moves really quickly, and it's just like, we didn't clean this up in post. I mean, granted, I'm spoiled now by being in the year 2017, but
Santa's stuttering.
It's so bad. And who thought it was a good idea to make a Christmas special where Santa says, "No, fuck the children. I'm not helping this year." like what? Who approved that? Like, how did that get past concept to yes, air that right now? That's what children want.
Hold on, Mrs. Claus. You knew that about me when we started dating. No kids. Santa needs a break. I don't care if you withhold. I'm out of here. Ho, ho, fuck it.
Ho, ho, no. So, Corey, what would your favorite Christmas special be?
Anything
I'm
Frosty
dying
the
for
Snowman.
Frosty?
What's up?
Frosty?
Anything Frosty, yeah. Because I really like the character design and the animation in those cartoons, save for the one that came out in like the 2000s, I think.
Yeah, where John Goodman was the voice. That one was awful.
Oh, it was awful. Oh, I kind of liked it actually. But that was
Frosty Returns, I think.
Frosty Returns. That could have been it. I don't remember because I saw it like back in 2006 or 7 or something like that, and I haven't had TV since I moved out. Of your house. But I always like those. Mainly because, I mean, with the exception of the Charlie Brown Christmas special, of course, and I think that's kind of one of those things that's like just taken as tradition. If you live on this continent,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The Rankin-based stop-motion ones, they freaked me the fuck out when I was little. Like, you were talking about, like, the rough quality of the animation. There was... I mean, you could attribute it to the Uncanny Valley, but they didn't stop at just having a valley. They drilled through straight to the core of the fucking planet and out through the other side where even the Chinese were going, no, this is all wrong. This is this isn't even something that you see after you hit your head really hard on a stop sign. It's like I've never seen The Year Without a Santa Claus, so I can't really speak for that one. But like the Bumble walking around and the center of gravity always being off kilter, and by this point I was starting to get like my drawing legs, so a lot of this shit started not making sense to me at a very like deep level too. Everything about those cartoons just struck me as like, I don't know, just a dream that you keep waking up in and out of. And you're looking at different like micro slices of motion. They're not just trippy, they're fucking freak shows. So when I was a kid, and especially if there was anything monstrous that showed up on those things, I was like, I had to leave the fucking room. Like I was gone.
They remind me of like the movement cadence from like The Ring, where it's like,
oh
no,
yeah,
I don't like that. No,
when she comes out of the TV.
Yeah.
And it's just not Samara, it's everybody in those goddamn things.
Yeah. Except Yukon Cornelius. Like he had like consistent walking because he just had little stubby feet, so he just kind of waddled.
Oh, that's
so it was
true.
easy to just kind of rock him back and forth where he was going. It was like,
So it
all
looked
right,
natural with him.
Yeah, it was like, oh, that looks like how my grandpa walks. That works.
Yeah, he was consistent in his limited capabilities.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point. There was that weird fetish of his with licking the pickaxe. I never quite got that. But...
Nothing. What are you tasting for? Like,
except for tetanus.
Wasn't he mining for tinsel? Like
Or-
it's like.
Yeah. Wait. No. Silver and gold. That was the song. But
Yeah,
how
that was the one Burl Ives did. Yep.
Right.
Because when he was the snowman. Yeah.
But tasting the pickaxe, I think that was a separate kink. I'm not quite sure that had anything to do with his.
I think that's
occupation.
where he kept his meth. How about specific like sitcom episodes that were Christmas themed? Anything there, Bob?
I didn't really dig those. Those seemed like whenever a very special or Christmas episode would come on of any show, even a show I liked, I'm like, all right, what else? Because oh, gee, they all learn a lesson and they all celebrate something that's not Christmas, but it's Christmas.
Very 80s TV, that though.
Yeah, well, 80s, 90s, it's been done for since the 60s. Probably I Love Lucy probably did something like that. So I'm not really a big fan of when TV shows do Christmas because it's all exactly the same, and they all of them do like some kind of spin-off of a Christmas Carol.
Okay, well, I'm gonna pick up your Grumpsgiving there, and I will give two.
Grumpy Bob is in.
On this week's A Very Special Christmas Blossom, Joey gets butt blasted by a mall elf.
Whoa. I will give a Thanksgiving episode that is one of my absolute favorites, and I will give a Christmas episode that, Bob, I think even you will have to admit is an excellent Christmas episode.
Hit me.
All right, so first, Thanksgiving would be the Slapsgiving episode of How I Met Your Mother, because that is 22 of the best minutes I've ever spent watching a sitcom. It's if you've never seen it, Bob, it is worth watching just that episode, because you really need to watch that whole series for that to really pay off.
Well, there's 5 slap episodes, right? That supplant the whole slap arc.
But the final Slapsgiving episode is just a thing of television beauty. It's absolutely marvelous.
Now, was this a real episode? Or was this like a Drew Carey Pig Latin episode?
Oh, no. This is a real episode. There was none of those on How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
It was all. This was built over 5 separate seasons up to this culmination of this final episode.
How I Met Your Mother was very comfortable in its skin as a sitcom.
Yep.
That's one of the things that impressed me about it.
Yep. It knew what it was, and it was cool with it.
Yep.
So let me give the one that I think Bob will like real quick. The one, Bob, I think you even have to admit is a great Christmas episode of a classic sitcom would be the very first episode of The Simpsons.
God damn it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Suck my balls. That was right. Yeah, it was the very first episode of The Simpsons. We've got...
It's like one of our partner podcasts is like shaking their monitors right now. It's like, know this! Know this!
Miles is going nuts right now.
Specifically his left-handed monitor.
Yeah.
Ned would sell that at the Leftporium. Yeah, I'm making Simpsons references.
Yeah.
How you doing, Miles? It was Where We Met Santa's Little Helper. It really set the tone for the entire series. And I think that was kind of the first groundwork where the show that was the first episode I ever saw. I mean, I'd seen a couple of the shorts on the Tracy Ullman show, but it wasn't anything that really stuck with me. But that was a big deal. Like, I remember sitting down with my mom and my stepdad up in Fall River and watching that when it debuted. That was a big deal. That was fun.
And nobody freaked out when Bart said sucks.
Nope.
Not in your house, anyway. In my house. Jesus.
First time he said that, it's like, everyone's like, all right, you're not watching this anymore.
You're not watching this.
Okay.
Can you believe that that's actually some shit that went down back in the day? You're not
Yeah.
watching The Simpsons. The Simpsons is too hard.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Bart Simpson is the devil. Well, okay. Prepare yourself for the next 25 years of TV.
Just wait till NYPD Blue comes on. You got to see Dennis Franz's naked ass on your television.
Well, at least
Shit
it's
happens.
a drama. Like, the fact that it was a cartoon just made it so much worse in certain people's eyes. I've never understood that.
Me either.
Then again, I watched
These are the same people who grew up on watching Fred Flintstone sell them cigarettes.
Yes, but
Make sure you buy new Winston. They're smooth. That's right, Fred. They're fucking great.
Hey, Fred, it just caused something up into the sink. It looks a bit like
Bonnie.
that shit you find on the roof of your house.
Well, Bonnie, that's just nature's tar. We can use that to seal our pipes.
Yeah. Christmas episodes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
The Flintstones have cancer, everybody. Cancer. That's what killed the cavemen.
Yes, Winston cigarettes killed the caveman.
No, it's the reckless...
Winston, we got a real good thing.
Thank you, George. Thank you for that one. I've got 2 Christmas episodes. I'm going to stay short on one because you didn't ask for 2. You asked for 1.
I did.
But I don't know if anybody really here really watches It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Mm-mm. No, okay. The first season of It's Always Sunny is kind of like considered to be like where the most growth occurred because it was just the 4 guys that were assholes, and then Caitlin Olsen had to play the straight person to him. And then in about the middle of that season, they all started getting in on the action because I think one of them, I think one of the screenwriters was like, this is pretty fucking imbalanced. Let's kind of go all in if we're going to do this. And then afterwards, the show just kind of kept escalating and reveling, and it's like button pushing sort of behaviors, and that's what it was for a long time. Somebody says something outlandish, and then another person, to try to make money, Frank sells a couple of people or something silly like that. The Christmas episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia was the first episode where you begin to realize that these people aren't just like dangerously narcissistic. They're fucking monsters. They're straight up fucking monsters. And that half of the comedy that you're watching in this show is actually just the lead up to a horror movie that does not feature a climactic murder scene. It's just all the way up until, at least in Friday the 13th, Jason's like, you know what, you guys have had enough, you're dead now. The people in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, they're just that before the killing. So in this episode, Charlie goes to a mall. Somehow he learns or falls underneath the idea that a mall Santa banged his mom. And then he becomes so enraged at the mall Santa that's at the mall that he's at, which had nothing to do with whatever his mom's up to, that he assaults the mall, or the Santa, not the entire mall, because that would be absurdist. And he bites off his ear, And the money shot of the entire episode is seeing Charlie Day screaming face front into a camera, a la Leon the Professional, with an ear in his mouth and blood draped down his chin, wild-eyed and fucking just rage-stricken, while the Santa underneath him is grabbing at his and screaming his own ass off. And you're supposed to be laughing at this. And the first time I ever saw this was like,
what is happening?
and then I had to.
Not just that was your.
I laughed about it maybe 2 days later because the shock wore off, but that was the first time I ever got a really good feel for what It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is truly about. It's just an Italian horror movie where there's laughs pouring in on top of the, just appalling rest of it. So that's
imagine
one.
if that was the introduction for you to any cut
That was
to that
the
series.
true introduction. Like, there's 4 more seasons before that actually happens, but that was where it all comes home to you, and you're like, okay, well, if I'm laughing at this show, it means I'm doing so at the expense of my soul, and that's okay. But my favorite Christmas episode out of anything was probably the Chris Carter X-Files episode, where Lily Tomlin and Ed Asner guest star as mischievous ghosts that play pranks on Scully and Mulder and try to get him to smooch by the end. And it was a Chris Carter funny episode, so the jokes didn't really land, but we did get to hear Mulder make like a fart joke, and and that's not something that Mulder that's not Mulder's way necessarily. And seeing like them out of their element and seeing Ed Asner and Lily Tomlin bounce off of each other is really cool too. And that's one I really enjoyed. God, I thought I'd have more to say about that than fucking It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Oh well.
There was one more for me. There was a particular episode of Leverage that I really liked, where it basically ends up that the Leverage gang is being sent to pull a con on Dave Foley from Kids in the Hall, who owns a mall.
This sounds magnificent.
Oh, it is spectacular. And basically, what ends up is it's a Will Wheaton episode where Chaos is there, and he's the actual main villain, and the gang finds out who it is, and it is you finding out at the end how much stuff you missed as Nate is playing chess 15 moves ahead of everyone else, and getting the money back and saving Christmas, and Parker's dressed as a elf, and it's great. It's really good. I don't want to say too much more because I don't want to spoil it. But
good, because I just wrote that down. I'm gonna try to chase that down tonight after we get done with this.
It's worth it. It's very good.
Excellent.
Let's move on now. Let's go to movies. Bob, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
Ooh, we're going to have a lot of the same ones here. I wrote down a couple of movies.
Okay.
Not thinking I'd go first, so I'm probably going to steal somebody else's.
That's fine.
So I'm going to go with one that I'm sure that more than likely you guys don't have, and that would be 1983's Mickey's Christmas Carol.
No, I remember that one.
I do too. That was very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's early
That
time
one-
memories.
I think that was like the first holiday movie I remember, aside from the Santa Claus movie, which I think was like a year or two later.
Is that the one
But I
with
think
Dudley
this-
Moore?
Yeah.
Oh
That
my
was
God.
I think that was 85.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
But I think Mickey's Christmas Carol was the first one I ever recall seeing, and the animation is perfect. It's incredibly good. They took their time with this, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's the story, but Pete as the Ghost of Christmas Future, I thought was perfect. It fits perfectly.
Oh, with a big robe and the cigar back when Pete still smoked.
Absolutely, yeah. Goofy was Bob Cratchit.
He was Bob Cratchit.
Cratchit, yeah.
Trying to remember who else. Donald was
An asshole.
I think-
because that's
Yeah.
Donald.
yeah.
No, wait. No, he
Donald
wasn't.
was a Nazi.
No, Donald was his nephew because that's how it works.
Oh.
Because Scrooge was.
Oh yeah, he was. Yes.
No, Goofy wasn't Cratchit. He was Jacob Marley, the ghost of Marley.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
yeah.
You're right.
Mickey was Cratchit.
I'm getting the names confused. Yes, that's all correct.
Bound by chains, Scrooge. You just mentioned it because of the Santa Claus movie, and I'm like, I gotta see that again. It's like so weird and horrendous. John Lithgow fucking ate the screen up in that movie, and he was so glorious for it. For free? So good and so bad.
I'll go next then. My favorite Christmas movie, or one of my favorite Christmas movies, because it can change year after year, is kind of along the same lines, Bob. It is Muppet Christmas Carol.
Okay.
With good old Michael Caine as Ebenezer Scrooge, and he's very affable, and he interacts with older Muppets, and it's fucking just marvelous. And it has another one of my favorite Christmas songs on it, with "Last Sleep Till Christmas" or "One More Sleep Till Christmas," and that is my traditional. It's time for bed. This is the last song I'm listening to before Christmas Day. So that is just it's. Yeah, I'm a fucking dork, man. I love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday. So, yeah, that's mine. Muppet Christmas Carol.
And it, so we've guessed Mickey's Christmas Carol and Muppet Christmas Carol.
Which Christmas Carol do you want, Corey?
Are we going with a live action version?
See, yeah, because I remembered it, and I don't know what the recall was that when Bob started talking about Mickey's Christmas Carol, the first thing I thought of was like, because you guys are used to how my mind works all of a sudden, whenever anything triggers it, it just goes in all goddamn directions at once. And you guys are used to this, but anybody watching this is not, although I'm guessing that they're maybe getting the idea by now. When you mentioned that, I tried to remember earlier when I was trying to remember who played Scrooge in the black and white Christmas Carol. Alistair Sim, goddammit. And then I remembered, but that's not the one I liked. That's not the first one. Because there was a movie, a version of the Christmas Carol, that always fucking sent it back home to me because all of my relatives were usually over at the house whenever it aired. And it was George C. Scott as Scrooge in the Christmas Carol. And I remember everything about that movie from, except for who directed it, but I remember everything about that movie from like the sets to like the fucking superimposed face over the giant door knocker on the front of Scrooge's flats. To the really hairy jolly dude that played the Ghost of Christmas Present, and for some reason he was always scarier to me than the Ghost of Christmas Future was in that movie. I don't know why. Now the other part of me wants to be like, all right, you know Scrooge is your favorite because you got to watch that every year, of course, and you love like the psychotronic production values of it and the dark humor underlying the entire thing. But I'm like, okay.
And Bobcat Goldthwait.
He called you a flatulating butthead. And fucking what's his face was in it?
Buster Poindexter.
I'm sorry.
Buster Poindexter.
Buster Poindexter. Fucking Glover. It's not Donald Glover. He's way too young for that role. It's not Crispin Glover because he's way too sane for that role. The guy that did the voice of Riddler. You know what I'm talking about. He doesn't get a lot of work anymore.
Jason Glover.
Is it Jason Glover?
Pretty sure.
Well, he's a Glover. Anyway, so stellar cast for Scrooge. But everyone always says Scrooge or Christmas Vacation. And those are just kind of a given because we're 80s kids. And that's the way it is.
Yeah.
But I feel like not enough people have seen the George C. Scott version of A Christmas Carol, and that one has always been the definitive version for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Another old one that I really love watching is the 1947 Miracle on 49th Street. I love that one more than the
34th?
more recent one. Yes.
34th Street?
Okay, yeah. Because 49th Street, something else happens over there. Those miracles are very short-lived, and they
Did
kind
I
of...
say 49?
You did.
49th Street, yeah. They also cost about $20 per an hour.
Okay.
Blowjobs.
True.
Well,
God damn it.
snow jobs.
Thank you. That's the way to keep it in theme. Damn it. Why didn't I think of that?
I was going to go with Christmas Vacation or Scrooge, but since Corey has taken those off the table, I'm going to go a little bit non-traditional. Gremlins. Gremlins is one of my favorites.
Oh, that's a good call. I thought you already set him up at Christmas Carol, though.
I did. I was just going to keep going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Yeah, sure.
Let's just talk Christmas movies.
More shit to remember. I don't care.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. Gremlins is one of my favorites. Gremlins is a good light horror film. And takes place during the Christmas season. And it is not the absolute psychedelic mindfuck that is Gremlins 2, the new batch. But it is wonderful all the same.
Which also has Glover in it.
That's true. That's very true.
Dude was everywhere back in the 80s.
And Robert Picardo. who makes out with the girl gremlin, which
That's
is
right.
just
Because it was a Joe Dante movie. It had to have Robert Picardo and what's the Dick
Butkus.
Dick Miller. No, not Dick Butkus. And I just wanted to say the name. Dick Miller, yeah. What's a Dick Miller? I don't know. It's the guy that mills dicks. I don't know.
All right, so who has Die Hard on their list? Everyone loves Die Hard. Yeah, it's a Christmas movie. It's not a Christmas movie.
I refuse to call that a Christmas music.
Really?
You're taking the stand, huh?
Yeah, I'll be that guy. I'll stay there
That's
and say
good because
no.
right now there's not enough that guy.
I agree.
Yeah, you see it at least once on your Facebook every year. You know what's the best Christmas movie? Die Hard. Bet you didn't think about that shit, broski.
It's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Degaff.
Hey, Cretins, hope you're enjoying the holiday special Nerd or Not podcast. We did go a little long, and we felt that if we were to cut out anything for time, it would devalue the podcast as a whole. So we're going to take a break now and continue this in part 2 of our discussion of some of our favorite Christmas memories. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll continue this in part 2 of the Nerd or Not podcast.